Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langhayati girim yakripa Tamaham vande paramananda madhava Ajnanati mirandasya Jnananjana shalakaya Chakshurunimilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Honorable Vice Chancellor and other esteemed learned colleagues of mine, my students, and ladies and gentlemen. It's a matter of great joy for me to get such an invitation to reflect upon such a topic which is so close to my heart. It's a very long reflection. I shall try to reach you, omitting some portions. I don't know how much time I have at my disposal.
Sir, take your time.
We have transactions with two words. দুটি বিশ্বের সঙ্গে আমাদের ব্যবহার। একটা হচ্ছে সাধারণ বিশ্ব, সকালবেলা থেকে উঠে যখন ঘুমোতে যায় সে পর্যন্ত যে বিশ্ব সঙ্গে আমরা ব্যবহার করি সে একটা বিশ্ব। আরেকটা বিশ্ব হল the world of art, কলা বিশ্ব। While the ordinary world is given to us, আমরা এই যে সাধারণ বিশ্ব সেটা আমরা তৈরি করিনি, এটা আমরা পেয়েছি। While the ordinary world is given to us, the world of art is created by us. Thus, the universe of our experience is partly given and partly created by man. A tree is given, a chair is created. Mud is given, pitcher is created. Cotton is given, thread is created. Flowers are given, garland is created. Voice is given, music is created. Language is given, poetry is created. There is something which is given to man which he has not created at all. And there is something which he creates out of the given. Therefore, our world of experience consists of both the given and the created. Then I have talked about the metaphysics of this given as presented in the N Shastra and Vaisheshika Darshana, which I think I should skip. A reflection by the Vaisheshika system on the metaphysics of this world which is common to all of us. This is the world with which we behave all our life. But behavior presupposes knowledge of that with which we behave. Now we behave is vyavahara. Vyavahara with the world presupposes knowledge of the world. Because yad vishayakam jnanam tad vishayini ichha tad vishayakaha prayatnaha tad vishayini cheshta. This is what we all understand. Naturally, we would like to know, how do we know this given world? The Indian logicians, therefore, took up this issue of narrating the processes by which the world is captured, world is known. This comes under what you call, in Western terminology, epistemology. So the ontology, epistemology, we have been told that there are 4 processes of knowing in Nyaya Shastra. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana and Shabda. I call Pratyaksha is a direct channel to internalize the world with which we behave. We are given 5 external senses made of 5 primordial elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, to have direct access to the external world, and the 6th sense organ. So we behave also with the 2. This world, ordinary world, is also divided into 2, external and internal. Now for instance, this mic is external. But the knowledge of this mic, does it exist here on the podium? It is inside me. No? So, but the knowledge also is an element in this universe. This is not a rabbit's horn. This is not Shashashringa. So the same ordinary world, partly outside and partly inside me. The logicians arrive at the conclusion after analyzing that there are 4 ways of knowing. So the first is direct channel. So Atma Manasa Sangyujyate Manaha Indriyena Indriyam Arthena Tatah Pratyaksham. This is the process through which we internalize directly through the senses, where the Atma, the knower, directly does not get connected. It is only through the mind through the external sense organ and then external. But how do you know? How is awareness created that I have knowledge of X, for example? That knowledge, so knowledge of knowledge, how do you have? Here the external senses do not work. And therefore for knowing internal worlds, a 6th sense called mind or manas is created in the system. It is not the case that we have access to the world always directly. So where there are limitations in perception and still we know the world existent outside, then we have to take this course to another way of knowing, another process of knowing, and that is inference, that is anumana. Still, where that also fails. Now someone has visited, let us say, London, and comes and reports to you, narrates what is there in London, that knowledge comes to you through language. So language also is equally a valid source of knowledge. So in this way, perception, inference, language, and in the language there is help is required, that the knowing of the relationship between word and meaning, that the upamana is serving the purpose of that. So epistemology I have presented in detail. The point that you have to note is Nyaya Sutra on the definition of perception is very important. So for the communication through, linguistic communication through language is concerned. Now the perception, the Pratyaksha Sutra is your indriya samnikarshotpannam jnanam avyapadeshyam. Now a child, until he acquires the language, am I to believe that he does not understand this normal world? Does he not? Yeah, he understands. Only the relationship is not yet established. And so he says that there has to be a state where you can have a cognition independent of language also. And this is the refutation of a view which was earlier prevailing, that nashoste prattayo, that what is presented in the Vakyapadiya later on, this idea is very old. So nashoste prattayo loke yas shabdan gamadrite anuviddhameva jnanam sarvam shabdena vasate. So that idea has been reflected by Gautama, and from there you can have this idea that there can be a cognition, there can be a knowledge first, and then that knowledge is to be encoded in language. So I acquire knowledge either through perception or through inference or through upamana or even language, and then when I want to communicate, what is required is that thought that I have acquired is to be enveloped in a form, a linguistic form, and that enveloped form of language is what your sentence is. So in the communication, in the theory of communication, there are two persons minimum involved: the communicator, the speaker, and the hearer or the reader, writer or the reader. And there are two processes involved in this too. The first process is that the speaker first has to acquire knowledge. And for acquiring knowledge, he may use different ways of knowing. And after he acquires the knowledge, he has a desire, vivaksha, bhaktum ichha. And then he can communicate. And then he becomes a speaker. And once the sentence reaches you, the hearer or the reader, then another process begins in the reader. And that's the process of decoding. As if I can use today's term, then you have encoding by the speaker and decoding by the listener or the reader. These two processes are involved in communication. So that Vatsayana has pointed out this fact. Yadidam anupayukte shabdata sambandhe arthajnanam nattan namadheya shabdena vyapadishyate grihite pi shabdata sambandhe asya arthasya ayam shabdah namadheyam iti. यदातु सः अर्थः गृह्यते तदा तादृगेव तत्पूर्वस्मात् अर्थज्ञानात् न विशिष्यते. So cognition emerges first. It requires to be encoded by the speaker. So there can be a cognition independent of language. That is the point the Vatsyayana, the tradition of logicians, Gautama and Vatsyayana have shown it. And that refutes the earlier prevailing view that there cannot be a cognition without language. Because vivartate arthabhavena prakriya jagato yata. Anadinidhanam brahma sabdurupam yataksharam. Vivartate arthabhavena prakriya. So the whole principle of language manifests itself in plurality. And that plurality is nothing more than the universe with which we behave all our life. This has been a tug of war between logicians and such thinkers. This implies that the speaker first acquires the knowledge and cognition and then verbalizes it. So there are two actions. One action is encoding, then the physical action is verbalizations, articulation. There he ends. His function is over. Now it is taken up by the listener or the reader, and then he gets involved into another function, the function of decoding that and opening that envelope. I always say that speaking is an invitation to the listener. Oh my friend, I have seen a world, please come and visit the same world which I have seen. And so what is required is that after opening that envelope, it is expected by the speaker that he reaches the same world, same cognition, same thought which was encoded by the speaker. If this happens, then we say there is samvada, there is a rapport. So the communication is successful. And wherever it fails, then we say there is visamvada, the communication fails. This is a very powerful theory developed by our tradition. This gives rise to the following model of analysis. Now, I could have written on the blackboard, but let us now withdraw that temptation. So there is a world. You have to have a cognition of the world. The cognition of the world, you have to encode it in a form. That encoded form of that thought is called a sentence. That sentence has to be articulated, and that also has been taken note of by Pananiya Siksha. Atma buddhya sametyarthan mano yunte vivakshaya sakraya gnamahanti saprerayate marutam marutastu urasicharan mandram janayate swaram. So it is in that context that how do I speak? How does a human being speak? Even that analysis is presented in our tradition. So this is one model which explains you that how you articulate, how you communicate, how you take part, how you participate in communication. A beautiful analysis is further presented by Vatsyayana that a speaker has to be very kind because he wants to communicate. Here he doesn't want to show his pedantry. He wants to share. So, Sakshat Krita Dharma. And therefore he is called Apta, a reliable person, a dependable person. If he says, if you are hungry and you approach him, and if he knows that there are fruits on the bank of the Ganges, and you go and have it, Nadyas tire palani santi, he will say. And if he is after, you understand the meaning of the sentence, you decode it, you arrive at the same thought which was encoded by the speaker, and you go and you get the fruits on the bank of the Ganges. But a cheat also can utter the same sentence. If he wants to cheat you, then he wants to torture you, mislead you. The same sentence can be uttered by that also, anartha also. So there is a great debate in Nyayamanjari on this issue. The opponent, particularly the Buddhist and the idealist, are taking that language is a liar. Language cannot tell the truth. And they are citing such examples where the sentence does not match the fact. Jayanta points out that, well, why are you only pointing out only such sentences which do not match the fact? And why not you should explain also the sentences which match the fact? And therefore, the fault does not lie with the language, but the fault lies with the speaker of the language, utterer of the language. And it is this idea that was encoded in Vatsyayana's commentary, Sakshātkita Dharma. Chittha Paishaya, he said. He is so kind that he wants, because the Vartikakara, etc., has made it further elaboration. So a speaker has to be very kind. And that is why I say that when I speak, I invite you. It's an invitation to you that please come and visit the world, the knowledge of which I have encoded in this sentence. So please decode it and visit the same world with the knowledge of which I encoded in this sentence. I think if this motive is taken, then you'll be able to explain why communication fails and why communication succeeds. Well, then the process of decoding the entire Shabdabodha Prakriya is nothing more than process of decoding. And I think in course of time someone will be presenting this, so I may skip. The point, very important point is again this I point out, that language, a sentence means what is intended by the speaker of the sentence. A sentence may have several meanings, but not at one and the same context. And it is not also the case that all the possible sentence meanings are intended by the speaker of that sentence. So that is why you have to interpret a sentence in a context. And context by context you will be inferring the intention of the speaker. To infer the intention of the speaker, in terms of the intention of the speaker, you have to interpret the sentence, and you are not free. You are not free to interpret it the way you like. Then it will become bizarre. It will lead you nowhere. When a mother says that the sun has set, now the daughter understands that it is the time to put a lamp before the Lord. But the same sentence is uttered in another context. The lover will feel that, well, this is the time where we can meet somewhere. So you can see, it is the context which will tell you with what intention the sentence has been uttered. These are the points which need to be considered while discussing, while reflecting on the theories of communication. So, Shabdabodha Prakriya entirely, Tatparya Jnana is very important. Tatparya Jnana is required only for this purpose. This is the view of logicians, Indian logicians, that unless you have Tatparya Jnana, you will not be able to understand the meaning of a sentence. If you ignore the Tatparya Jnana, that means it is your interpretation, it may be true, it may not be true. But if you know the Tatparya of the speaker, speaker, and then if we have Shabdabodha, of course, you will be able to reach the same word, the knowledge of which was encoded in the sentence, and the communication becomes successful. So this also is skipped. So, anyway, this is the model of communication to communicate with the normal world, given world, the world which I have not created. But when you go to communicating a created, the experience of created world, then how? Then you have to understand what is creation. When you say, I have created this, I am a creative writer, I have done this, I have created this. In what way you have created it? Jayanta Bhatta has very beautifully narrated the whole thing. Kutuva nutanam vastu vayam utprekshitum shama. We are human beings, we should not forget. Can we create even a particle? Or even 100th part of a particle, is it possible for us to create particle? No. What we can do? We can simply arrange, rearrange, rearrange. Morning the sofa set here, afternoon the sofa set there. That is our creation. So, Kutova Nutanam, have we created language? No. Have you created tune? I mean, the voice? No. We have cultivated. Voice is given, voice is cultivated to a tune. And then music is created. Poetry is created because language is given. A beautiful chair is created because the tree is given. A beautiful bouquet is prepared because the flowers are given. So, Kutuva Nuntanam Vastu Vayam Utprekshatum Shama. Then what is creativity? Vacho Vinyasa Vaichitryam Kevalam Avadhani. The only thing that will bring you down on the earth is this. You are the creator of the arrangement or rearrangement, or go on adding as many you want. That's the only thing, in that sense you should take it. So, in a communication of an artistic world, first what is to be, this model has to be common to both, because again linguistic communication, so the model that we have developed for understanding communication with the normal world, the same can be extended now to understanding the world of art. But what is world of art? With whom are you going to communicate? All these things are to be talked about very, very, very clearly. Then only perhaps a second model of communication with the world of art is possible. So as against the given world of our experience, there is a created world of our experience. As an art form, be it music or dance or painting or sculpture or literary art form or drama, poetry, short story, novel or the like, is created by human being, unlike ordinary world of our experience, which is given and not created by any human being. That the world of literary art is created is clearly stated in the following oft-quoted verse, quoted in Dhvanyaloka. Apare kavya samsare kavi eka prajapati. So, Kavi is an artist. He is Prajapati, he is creator. But is he a magician? How does he create? He is simply, creation here means transformation. Whatever has been given to him, he just transforms into world of art. So, apare kavya samsare kavihi ekah prajapati. How? He says, Yatha asmai rojate vishwam, the given one. Yatha asmai, I also walk through the garden, I also see flowers, but I cannot write a poetry. Whereas Professor, they will be able to write. Why? Why does it happen? The analysis is here. Yathasmai rochate vishwam tathainam parivartate. This is creation. This is creation for the artist. Sringari chet kavi sarvam rasamayam jagat. You see? The kavi, the artist, is the man who has seen this world with a different eye. So, Sringari chet kavi, sarvam rasamayam jagat. And if the same happens to be Shankaracharya, for example, Saeva bhita ragas chet, sarvam dhirasam hitat. Then his description of this world will be altogether different, and the description of the world of a Shankara rasa appreciator will be altogether different. And therefore, this is how he created. The point is that creation means transformation. So creation is transformation. Kavya means literary art form. Kavya samsara means the world of art, literary art. Kavi stands for literary artist, and he is the creator, Prajapati, of the world of this literary art form. Samsara here stands for the ordinary world of our experience. An artist's creation is conceived as transformation of the given. Yatsainam vishwam parivartate. So this Vishwa is the given world. He simply transforms it. That transformation happens because he has Karaitri Pratibha. So someone is given with this Pratibha called Karaitri Pratibha. Similarly, the Shrota, ordinary Shrota, when there is an ordinary communication with the world, and you cannot communicate a beautiful poetry with a man who is working on the road. So the Shrota also is required to be transformed. So Shrota should become Sahridaya. So the Bhakta should become Kavi. Shrota should become Sahridaya. Now Kavi and Sahridaya, there can be communication. So communication is for making the communication of the rapture of experience of world of art. What is required is a transformation at all levels. The ordinary level, each level has to be transformed into another level. In the level 1, who was a Shrota, now he has become Kavi. Vakta has become Kavi. The samsara is now Kavya samsara. Bhasha ordinary, but Kavya bhasha, different language. And so many things you do. But what do you do? This transformation at all levels. So at the level of language or at the level of the content of language, there are only arrangement of the given. Whatever is already available, you go on arranging, rearranging to bring about transformation. And once it is transformed, then an ordinary Shrota is not going to enjoy that joy of art. That Shrota has also to be elevated to the level of Sahridaya. And that can be communication only between Kavi and Sahridaya. Cross communication is not possible at all. So through this transformation, the communication in the area of art, world of art will become. And if you look at the Alankara Shastra from this angle, everywhere you will find that the same is reflected everywhere. So to the students I will appeal that you go through all the Alankara texts from this angle and identify what are the ways for bringing about transformation of the ordinary world into world of art, ordinary language into the language of art, ordinary experience into experience of literary art, or ordinary listener into psychedelic connoisseur. So at all levels you have transformation, and keeping this in mind, all the Alankara Shastrakaras are presenting their theories of communication. This is what I have narrated in detail. I think I'll be giving to Professor Bhattacharya for publication. It should be published, and then line by line we will. So whether it is a Bhakti theory, whatever theory you take recourse to, you will find that this communication at that level is possible only after all the elements which are involved in communications are transformed into a different level, the level of art form. You see, otherwise, Gatosthamarkaha bhatinduhu yanti vasaya pakshinaha ittevam ade kim kavyam vartani nam pratakshate. These are some narration, this is a newspaper reporting. Is it to be considered a piece of literary art? It cannot be. And therefore, unless the transformation takes place, there is no chance of something ordinary Vishwa getting transformed into world of art. Sabdartho sahito vakkadakavi vyaparasalini bandhe vyavastito kavyam tadvit adhadakaran. So at all levels, to be very precise and to be brief, I can say that at all levels you need the transformation to be pointed out, and it is only through that. He says the language is the same. The Kavi has not created a new language. It is only Bengali or in Hindi or in Sanskrit. The same Sanskrit ordinary language becomes the language of poetry. How? How does it happen? What has he done? He has brought about transformation in the language as well. How? That you have to find out from the description of the Alankara Shastra text. That should be the way you should study Alankara Shastra to understand this communication. Otherwise, it will not be possible for you to catch that. The same words are here. That also I have gathered. The words are the same, meanings are the same. That how is it while reading poetry you get the joy, but while reading the newspaper you will not get the joy? Why? Why does it happen? It is because of newspaper lacks that transformation, whereas in poetry you have that transformation. Transformation at all levels, from the level of the Shrota to the level of from the level of the Bhakta up to the level of Shrota in the ordinary world. All are to be elevated to another level in order to create the facility to have a meaningful communication with our artistic experience. So is there the meaning? Any meaning? The meaning is all around us. Saha arthaha tad vyakti samartha yogi shabdascha kashchana. Yatnatah prativekyeyo to shabdartho maha. So shabdartho sahito kavyam. That means any shabda you put together and artha together and becomes kavya, doesn't become kavya. Then what makes it kavya? What makes it literary art form? It is only the transformation that I am pointing out, and that transformation has to be brought into by analysis, by understanding the text in that particular manner. Alokarthi yatha deepshikayam yatnavandanah tadupayataya tadvat arthe vache tadadrita. that was he was referring to. So that is why I said that Kutova Nutanam Vastu Vayam Vastu Shama Vacho Vinyasa Vechitram Kevalam Avagharyatam. So what your creativity is nothing more than arrangement of the given. That is, my friend, my understanding, my analysis, and at two levels. So we communicate at two levels. At ordinary level, we are Bhakta, you are Shrota. But at the level of artistic communication, I am Kavi and you are Sahridaya. And this has happened only because of the transformation. So the Bhakta has become Kavi through Karayitri Pratibha. And a Shrota has become Sahridaya by Bhavayitri Pratibha. So Karayitri Pratibha and Bhavayitri Pratibha, these are the elements which have helped these level to be transformed into another level, and therefore the communication between Kavi and Sahridaya is possible, they can enjoy. Unless you are Sahridaya, you cannot understand work of art. And that is the reason. So this is my analysis of the all Alankara Shastra text and the ordinary communication by the Shastra text, logicians, Shastra text, and presenting to you. I thank Professor Chandan Bhattacharya for inviting me, and rather I should thank him because that gave me a chance to reflect upon this, and then I also learned a lot through this. So thank you, and thank you all my boys and girls. I am very happy to see the number. I mean, this number is very, very, very encouraging. But one thing I tell you, simply by repeating like a parrot is not going to do anything to you. You learn how to analyze, learn how to understand, and learn how to apply the analysis. Then only your exercise has some meaning. Otherwise you will get a degree, but that is of no use in your life. So I hope, I pray God that your life becomes useful and you take this activity very seriously. It's a very reflective tradition. And we are so fortunate to be born in this country. I tell you, I have traveled the whole world and I have not found any such culture in any part of the world. This is a very rare kind of an opportunity for the children to get acquainted with this tradition. And it was this kind of a, uneasiness in me and my wife, now who is not here with me now, that we created a Rishi Rina Trust. And now the name that I have given to the trust, now you understand what is the meaning? That we have whatever I have got it from rishis. And what should I do? I am in debt to him. How to repay the debt? Just to share whatever I have learned. And this is what we are doing through that trust. So we have a website. Just go and see the website, www.vidyavatika.vidyavatika. बहुत ही लिखना vidyavatika.org. Go to the site and you will come to know what are the activities, what are the areas left for you to dive deep into the intellectual, philosophical and spiritual culture of this country. With this, I thank you all once again.